We're here recording today with Cullen. How'd that sound to you? Was that weird?
That was weird.
That was weird. You've never been in the room when I've done that before, have you?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah. What do you... Is that what y'all say? And I just stole it from you?
Oh, no. No.
I don't know. What am I supposed to say? Now I feel dumb.
Don't feel dumb.
Oh, this is what we're about to talk about today.
Gosh.
Okay.
I don't even know what we're going to talk about, and I suggested this, and now
You suggested it and got me on the train.
But then I got off on some crime scene stuff on my podcast, and so my brain is all up in a different place.
And you're just gonna like murder me now soon here, aren't you?
What's up, guys? Are we gonna introduce the vlog now?
Oh, hey.
That was a little behind the scenes.
Sorry about that.
What's up? How y'all doing?
They said they're doing good. All right.
I was just waiting on everybody to say they're doing good. And just looking at my gray hair and my fresh snips shirt, and you look all blacked out, murked out. I hope that's like politically correct. Sorry if it's not. Like, yeah.
I just have on a black shirt today, guys.
Sometimes
I have on a black shirt and a Fancy Nancy sticker.
verbiage comes out of my mouth. Fancy Nancy's, yeah. Like, why she gotta be fancy? Why can't
Because
she
she's Nancy and it rhymes.
Yeah, like.
Some people like to be fancy. That's,
I don't know.
It is who she is, and we need to appreciate people for who they are, even if it doesn't seem normal to us.
That's right.
I'm very much on that train right now.
That is right, and that's what we're gonna kind of talk about today, right?
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. So earlier we were busting at. I'm not on the Don't Tell Mom podcast.
Y'all, those of y'all that are watching the vlog, this is what it looks like when I'm recording my podcast right here.
Then we can mark it not kid friendly.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that's a whole nother topic.
Not kid friendly.
Our brains are like consuming all the things right now and about to combust, but we were.
Can you sit up so
there we
a
go.
little better? Thanks.
Sorry. We were just busting booty, cleaning house earlier.
You were.
And I was listening to Dave and Rachel Hollis talk about this
on their Rise Together podcast.
Yes, and it's one question that you should ask your spouse, your business partner, your employees.
I think it was just about
your
marriage.
boss.
No?
I think it deals
romantic relationship?
It deals with anything really.
Okay,
Because in any aspects of life, like if you know that about the other person, whatever the question is that we'll get to in a minute, then it would probably change the way you work together, live together, coexist together, whatever.
It was really good though, and I feel like I relate to them so much because, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but they're working together now as spouses that are working together, and hearing their perspective on the question that they asked based on the fact that they work together. I know they even have talked about like overcoming some codependency stuff, drinking and alcohol.
I think that's what resonated so well, and I was like, I don't want to like steal their idea, but I just want to elaborate on it from our perspective, because it's been something I was like, this is like what we've been talking about, like literally. And you were just listening to Rachel Hollis, the Rise Together
Business podcast.
And you're like, this is what I was just thinking about making a podcast on like 2 days ago.
Like I had some notes that were very similar to it.
Yeah,
but,
so it's.
I mean, I felt like I didn't want to copy them, but then at the end she was talking about how like this is a good relationship, like y'all go sit down with your spouse and have this conversation. I was like, okay, we will, and we'll record it.
Well, that goes back to the whole thing, like if you open up a car wash, you're not going to be known for copying the other person that made a car wash, because you just I mean, we're not the first person to talk about. I think
it's cool to just give our perspective on it, but if y'all want to hear their perspective on their relationship, you can go listen to it on the Rise Together podcast, and it's an episode called like the one question that can change your marriage or relationship or something.
The one question that could change your relationship, I believe.
You go.
So, relationship with anybody.
So, the question was...
I forgot. What was the question?
This isn't a test.
No.
It's not a test.
See, I get
There's
crazy
no right or wrong answer.
about test quizzes.
He does have some testing anxiety.
All that kind of stuff, because I always want to make sure I answer the correct way, and I don't want to make anybody upset, and I'm trying to be the people pleaser. But the question was, what's
it like to be in a relationship with me?
Or if you could change one thing about me, what would it be? That's kind of how I took it.
That wasn't part of it. No, and Rachel even says, she's like, no, honey, you're hearing me wrong. I didn't say that I need you to change it. I'm just telling you that this is how it is. Or one of them says that.
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever it was. It's not necessarily about changing it. It's just, and some of the things you may take as constructive feedback of, like, what's it like to be in a relationship with me? And it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like, I guess the short answer would be like, oh, it's really fun and enjoyable, but it can be tense sometimes. Like,
Wait.
there's a really short answer of it.
But they did answer, like, what's one positive thing that's good about being in a relationship with me, and then what's a bad thing that's...
They never got to the positive.
Oh, well, they said, like, I thought they were, yeah, I guess they
I think the question is written or, like, asked in a way to
need to
not
listen
be
to it.
positive or negative.
Okay.
You know, like, it's as whatever your answer is, it is what it
Are you
is.
sure it's not what's something you could change about
No, you
me
go
in
look.
this
I think they put
relationship?
did they put it in the description? I
I
mean,
don't
we
know.
you want me to pause this audio?
No. Let's just keep rolling with it. But I just thought it was very interesting because of, like Katie just said, like the work togetherness and the way that we have to have run a business together, work from home together. And like you would think about it when everybody's like, oh, you're a YouTuber, or oh, you are a vlogger, or whatever the case is. That must be a dream come true, and yada yada yada, and you get to stay home with your kids and your wife, and you get to watch them grow up, and you get to be there for them for every single thing. But on the flip side,
You just look down at the podcast like
yeah. On the flip side, that can also be like detrimental and frustrating, and no boundaries, no work versus play.
And I think the thing is, because that tends to come across to people as complaining, but
No.
I think the way what you're trying to say to me sounds like it's, hold on, I lost my train because I was trying to not say that in a way of like it being judgmental, and I wasn't being judgmental. I was trying to think of a different way to say it, is that it is great and wonderful, but it comes with challenges, just like any job does. Any job.
Yes.
Like it's just like the working mom versus a stay-at-home mom debate of like, well, this one's better than the other. Well, no, they both have challenges. And, you know, working parents might feel that stay-at-home parents have it made because they just get to be home and do all the things. Stay-at-home parents might think of working parents as having it made because they don't have to deal with the crap all day from the kids, you know? So there's challenges to everything.
And at some jobs, you have to take work home, and like at 5 o'clock, your job's not done. But at other jobs, at 5 o'clock, you're done, and then you get to go focus on your family. And so again,
There's just challenges to everything. I mean, there's challenges to
pros
everything.
and cons to any job that you do.
But I think ours has changed. Oh, sorry.
No, that was yeah. I was gonna say it's been a blurred line for so many years because nobody teaches you how to work with your spouse 24/7 necessarily.
Well,
if that makes
especially
sense.
we're not even just, because a lot of people, I know Jay's parents worked together, and they, like, I'm pretty sure I could be saying this wrong, like had a business together where they worked together, but we even add in an even additional aspect on top of that with the work we're doing is sharing our life and our relationship and our kids and stuff. So it's not just that we're doing this one particular type of business that's unrelated to our life. Like, our actual life and relationship is literally part of every single thing that we do. But this isn't even what the question's about. So the question is,
what is it like being in a relationship with me?
wouldn't want you change. That's okay though. It's okay.
But then you focus on like, oh, okay, I guess when you think about that, do you want to talk about the good of being in a relationship with you or the bad being in a relationship with you?
Okay, well, here's what, when I first heard that question, I kind of had a little like in my stomach, because I was like, this is gonna be really hard for me, because I feel like at the place we are in our relationship right now, I personally have been working on overcoming my history of being critical as a way of giving feedback, and being overcritical of you, and even in areas where I shouldn't be, like giving too much feedback, or too many, like, you should have done this, you should have done that, you shouldn't wear this, you shouldn't wear that, not because I like think there's something wrong with you, but because I just tend to be an opinionated person and give those opinions. So I was like, I don't even want to tell you what I think, because I don't want it to come across as me being judgmental. And then that gave me the whole answer to the question. So I know what my answer is, basically, is what I want to say.
Trust yourself?
No.
Oh. What?
I should actually just trust myself and tell you. But did you want to go first or do you want me to go first? I guess I'm gonna go first.
No, I can go first. Well, I guess, like Rachel and Dave said, you may start with the good or the bad first, but then I'm like, I don't know where to even start. What is it like being in a relationship with Katie? The sixes of the world, Katie.
And I think this isn't as much feedback on necessarily like you as a person, and it should be something that I shouldn't take personally because this is what your experience is of being in a relationship with me. It's not you're a terrible person, you're awful, and you do this wrong.
That is such a hard question though because of our history and our recent history and our recent revelation.
Things
because
have changed.
I'm trying to think about like what is it like being in a relationship with you from like day one till today, like overall relationship or like micro focused. Like
we are living
in this
in
current
the moment
place right now. What is it like being in a relationship with you?
Because that's kind of my focus in life right now is let's live in the moment.
Okay.
Like what's it like being in a relationship with me? I mean, I would say like today, right now, the second, but like in general this month, I don't know, this week, this like recently, what's it like right now?
It kind of goes back to what you just almost elaborated on, I guess, about like not being able to make a decision is kind of frustrating sometimes. But then I've like learned to step back on it goes back to us working together.
You though, don't think about what you're needing to say is good or bad about me. Tell me what your experience is like from your perspective. It's okay if you hate something or love something. It's your experience. Like the question is, what is it like for you being in a relationship with me? Not what am I like? Not what Katie.
My brain just like got even more crazy because I'm like,
you don't know yourself. You're 3.
I'm 3.
You're 3. You don't know who you are, so you can't.
And I'm still 3 in my mind.
Oh no, an Enneagram.
Enneagram. But no, I'm thinking like working together as a business, trying to create a business and working as a business. What is it like being in a relationship with you, or what is it like intimately or relationship? Marriage-wise, being in a relationship with you, because as far as the business, let me just say, as far as the business side, I guess it's kind of frustrating when, for me, I feel frustrated. Not saying I'm not like.
You don't have to apologize. It's your feelings. If they are your feelings.
Whenever like, but it also goes into I guess the marriage relationship about making decisions. But you've gotten better about that. But like even yesterday when we were like trying to figure out where to film a shot, I've learned to I guess over the years not express my dominance as much because of the way you say, oh but what about this, or oh, what about this, and 7 out of 10 times it's a better idea because you've actually thought it through, and I'm more spontaneous and I'm like, no, let's just do this right here. And so over the years, I've been trained to just be like, whoa, I don't care. Even Gaines, our daughter, the other day was like, well, you asked her something, and you said, well, let's go ask Daddy. What do you think he'll say? And she goes, he'll probably say he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because literally, I've been trained over the years, and when I used to be just so like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to start daily vlogs. I'm going to go get a camera tomorrow, and we're going to start daily videos and post them on YouTube. And you're like, what? And I had that like take charge mentality, but now I've just been kind of like, and I haven't even really, it's just been so slowly. But then on the flip side, it's also helped me build myself back up in a sense to learn about new life experience and ways to look at things, because there have been those times where it's like, if you'd have just done that, you would have gotten in a wreck. Or, you know, versus like, hey, wait, let's think which way do we need to turn really before we go to the store. And let me look at the let me look it up online before we get there. I'm the one that'll go get the pizza instead of having it delivered because I'm just
But you're
that
also the one that'll spend
spontaneous-
2 hours going to 3 different stores looking for something when I'm
there's
like,
the internet.
I'm like, I keep picking my phone up. I looked it up on Walmart's website and it said they didn't have it. Why'd you even go there? Because you just wasted
But
time.
I've had history,
plan ahead.
I've had experience
You don't trust
where
the internet.
I don't. There's stuff in the store that's not necessarily listed on the
Yeah.
internet, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, ha! See, I told you. We had
Yeah.
that conversation the other day about a camo shirt, and it's just like
Nobody could see it anyway.
I was like, see, you couldn't even look it up on the internet. Why are we arguing about a camo shirt?
Camo jokes.
But I don't know. There's a lot, but I don't know. That's
It's hard to answer right now.
It's hard to answer right now because things have been mentally different and emotionally different and more focused.
My answer a year ago would be completely different from what it is today.
Yeah.
And I think yours probably would too.
Yeah, totally.
But I think I still have a lot of things to work on.
But that's
that
why
maybe-
I love you and like love the relationship we're in because you do challenge me to stop, collaborate, and listen, Cullen, and think about things before I do them because I'd probably be run off in a ditch somewhere. I don't know. You know?
Or you might not, because if I hadn't
I might be the president of the United States if you hadn't stopped me.
You might still be target balling and loving every minute of it if I hadn't complained about it so much.
You do? That's been a
We haven't even
topic.
gotten into that.
Yeah.
We mentioned it in a live
Like
stream one day.
stifling my creativity, but which I didn't even know was happening.
Right.
But
And I
when you
didn't
look back-
intend it as that.
No, you didn't.
It was because I was so consumed with worry over what other people thought and my insecurities and not wanting to like impose on anybody or do anything or whatever, and not accepting because I was so deep
It was like my
in the
creative
codependent
outlet.
stuff.
I didn't even know.
It was like
I
the
needed
feeling of your actions are my actions, and if you're gonna do this target balling thing, then like it's basically as if I'm doing it, which I mean I did go with you, but like that was your thing, and it should not be any opinion of me whether you can or can't do it, unless of course it's like you're leaving the family all day to go do this,
Right.
and you know it's interfering with other parts of your life, and to some extent, I mean it did take up a lot of time.
Yeah, it took up a lot of time, and there was.
But it was fun. You loved it.
Yeah, and I could have like taken the momentum of the creativity flow and maybe gone a different route if life, depression, and everything else that we've been through hadn't have happened, not unknowingly, I guess.
Right.
You know, like it wasn't like you did it on purpose.
No, I just like that's
But,
the
like,
way
looking
that
back at it.
I had such a deep sense of like that if it wasn't something that I would want to do myself, then you shouldn't be doing it or something. It's just weird. Like codependent
There was like
mindset is so messed up.
Every target ball picture almost, there was like I had to like get a pep talk to myself to talk you into going with me if I needed
I
help.
hated going.
But then I was so proud of you, and I was like, see, and we'd have a little adrenaline rush because it was so exciting, and then you'd see somebody out there that watched your videos, and then that would make it more exciting, and then you get to know the manager, and that'd make it more exciting. But probably a good portion of it later towards the end, when I wasn't doing like the action shots necessarily, I would take the tripod or set it up on the hood of the roof.
And we had a baby, and so then
all that kind of stuff.
I wasn't as
Right,
available
right.
to go. And I think though it's like you enjoyed that so much and enjoyed the thrill of it, and I didn't necessarily, even though afterwards we'd have like the adrenaline rush and I'd be like, oh, it was so fun, it was good, but I would be like dying inside of like, oh my gosh, that was so stressful, because I just like I don't like standing, as weird as it sounds, we're doing this on the internet, I don't like standing out in front of a crowd of people. Like standing out is like, oh, what are they doing, that's cool. I'm like, I just like to kind of blend in sometimes.
And then I was like, okay, well, let's wear Where's Waldo and go take it by the target ball. That way you'll blend it.
But the thing that I feel like I've accepted lately about both of us is like, it's okay if I don't like to do that, or if I didn't thoroughly enjoy it as much as you did. That doesn't mean you can't do it, and that doesn't mean that you should take it personally that I don't want to go with you some nights. Like
Right.
that doesn't mean that you're stupid for doing it. It just means it's not my thing, and everybody's different, and I may not like to to be awkward and like do pranks and stuff like that. Like it makes me so glad. It made me so glad that I didn't have to go down to the strip and interview people with y'all when y'all were filming the podcast a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm good, I'll stay here. It's all fine.
See, I was like fired up. I could have done that all day.
It probably would have been fun once I got down there, but just I don't know. Anyways, so are we still even answering the question?
I don't know. Like, so what's it like being in a relationship with me? Did you answer that already?
No, but so I guess that was your answer though. So we're good on that.
I mean, if you want to look at like the negative, I mean, I could look at so many more positive things.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I guess what was the straight answer of like what's it like to be in a relationship with me? It's kind of frustrating that I am not good at making decisions. Or
frustrating the indecisiveness. Not recently, obviously. Like I just referenced yesterday, but just
the overanalyzation.
The overanalyzation. The six of you. The analyzing, the catastrophizing, or looking at the worst in things versus I'm the type of person, like my mom always says, we'll just figure it out when we get there. Yeah. Like literally, if you told me let's go camping tomorrow, I would be like, all right. And we would find wood, and I would make a fire by throwing a rock at something. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you'd be like, no, but what if it's like pouring down rain and we're stuck out in the cold?
What if you throw a rock and it accidentally hits a tree and the tree falls down and then it kills everybody?
Like, but I would totally just be like, let's go, spontaneous, you know?
I think it's interesting that the thing that you're kind of saying is hard is the thing that like makes me and makes me who I am. And I think that's part of what I'm gonna say about you too. But the reason relationships a lot of times don't work is because you're probably gonna have things about somebody that makes me that you don't like or that don't appeal to you, but being able to accept those and like not shame me for, I'm not saying that you are, I'm just saying being aware of people not shaming the other person for overanalyzing, for whatever. That doesn't mean you have to overanalyze. Like if I'm gonna overanalyze it, maybe I will, but like just accepting that that is who I am and it's probably not gonna change. It's not like something that's terrible, but in the things about you that I'm like, I'm not gonna make you stop wanting to be crazy and spontaneous and do stupid things with target balls, you know, like but it's those things that instead of shaming you about it and making you feel guilty because it makes me uncomfortable, accepting that that is who you are and like that's fine for you to be you. It doesn't mean that I have to also do it. Like it doesn't mean you have to overanalyze everything with me. It just means that you can hear me and see me and not make me feel stupid for being anxious about stuff.
Well, and I think that's a testament to true love, is when you can have a relationship with somebody that you are a business partner with and have a relationship with, and know or not scrutinize or shame the other person, but instead work on yourself to figure out a better way to handle those situations, like we've been doing, even with parenting with the kids at the ages they are right now, and like trying to understand the way we think about certain issues and certain things in life versus just saying no, it's my way or the highway. And I don't know, like when we go out, just an example, go out to eat dinner or something, now we'll, if you want Chinese, then I want pizza, then we do like, well, you're like, so it's literally a 1 on my, you know.
Well, we've learned that recently.
Yeah, like we vote on it. You give it a number system, like how bad do you want Chinese from 1 to 10? And if you say 1, then I'm like, well, I want pizza, and it's an 8. So then there's no like hard feelings about like, fine, God, we'll get pizza. And then you hold it against me and you're sitting there every bite resenting the fact that you didn't get Chinese. And, you know.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the thing that I don't think we may have explained this at some point, but like the whole, both of you are like, well, it doesn't really matter, we can get whatever you want, and no, we can get what you want, and then you decide on something, and one person like really internally actually did really want the other thing, but they kind of just went with the it doesn't matter. And I feel like lately, part of what I've been working on and working on myself is just saying what I mean and not beating around the bush. And I'm still like actually really terrible about that. I have tried to get better about not using criticism or like put downs as a way of expressing a concern or like a constructive criticism, but I'm not great at being direct.
Last night you were throwing the dishes, or you weren't throwing them, but you were like being loud. They were actually clanging around. The kids were asleep. I was like, is she trying to tell me that I need to go clean the sink out? Like, you know, I was like, if she wants to tell me to clean the sink out, she will.
Yeah.
And so I didn't clean the sink out.
Yeah, no.
There's still dishes in it right now. But like, you know, there's just those like side swipes.
That's how I used to would have communicated. And so we're having to retrain ourselves, both of us, or I guess for you to not interpret those things, because I'm like, listen, if I want something now, I feel like I'm going to tell you. Now, I might beat around the bush about it and be like, hey, did you know there were dishes in the sink? Basically, the point is, we're both learning to be more direct, and I'm hoping that you are trying to not interpret things that may appear that I'm trying to do something I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's also about like the boundaries you're creating with like the way you say things. It's like, you're not, I don't know, sometimes you'll say, be in the way that you...
Don't be afraid to say what
No, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, like, and make sense. It makes sense in my head, but I'm trying to spit it out. Like, when I say, like, I don't care when you ask, like, where do you want to go sit and film this, or where do you want to go to eat, or whatever. I'm like, I feel like sometimes you've learned to kind of like, if I just give you about 2 minutes to like contemplate everything in your head, you'll figure out what you want. Versus me saying something and then getting my hopes and dreams dashed after I'm like, no, let's just go do this. Sometimes. Now there's other times where I'm just like, no, we're gonna go do this. And you're like, thank you. Like, you like that dominating. You see these muscles right here? But
why do y'all think I like this muscle?
Yeah, but you like that. You'll say like, just tell me what you want me to do. You know, like you like that. And half the time I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Yes. Well, and that's kind of, okay, so that's kind of leads into my answer. So my answer, and I'm trying to think back to this, I'm like, when I was listening to theirs, I was like, I should have written it down, because like as soon as I heard the question, it came to me, and I was like, this is exactly how I want to say it. I just took my shoes off. I'm sorry if my feet smell bad. They're those big fluffy boots that you don't like.
Don't worry about how your feet smell. Just be confident.
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. Let me think about how I'm going to try to say this.
Don't be afraid to say it.
Shut up. Are you making fun of me now? Are you making fun of me? Because that's actually what is the problem. So, okay.
I was not making fun of you. I was just... like,
you were mocking me.
Not mocking you, but like putting trying to put you in my shoes, because I knew you weren't scared to say it. You were just trying to think of the way to say it.
I am scared to say it.
What? Why are you scared to say it?
This is what, so this is the thing, is like, I actually wish you would say, don't be afraid to say what you really think. I really wish you would say that and mean it, instead of like mocking me, because see, you think it's dumb that I said that. And so you're mocking me back like, oh, well, just don't be afraid to say what you want to say. But that's actually what kind of my answer is about what frustrates me. So let me just tell you. So the question was, what's it like to be in a relationship with you? And I guess the first part, like if we're gonna talk about all of it, the first part is like, it honestly is fun, and you do funny things, like make jokes, like whatever you said a minute ago, I made a mental note of like, oh, that's exactly what I was talking about. I don't even remember. You made a joke about something.
On the flip side. And
we laughed and whatever. And I feel like you keep the humor and like the fun and whatever in anything most of the time, unless we're fighting. But you keep the fun and the humor and like making jokes and stuff. Like I really enjoy that, and I think that was what was so hard over the past like year, is that's what was lost from you as a person, was like the keeping the fun and humor light side of things. And so that was, I'm just glad that that's back, and that we can just kind of like be a little more lighthearted, and you can make jokes and we can have fun together. Okay, so that's like the first thing that comes to mind, is what's it like being in a relationship with you. Is a good part. But then the other part is that it's, okay, so it's kind of frustrating to me that I tend to be, I'm a very opinionated person, not because I necessarily think I'm always right, but because, like you said, I overanalyze things. So any topic that could possibly come up, I have most likely spent a good bit of time thinking about this at some point in my life and probably have an opinion on it, because that's what I do in my spare time, is think about things that I shouldn't be thinking about. And so to me, when something comes up, or like, let me just give a real life example, that like you were cleaning up the playroom earlier, and I was very glad that you were cleaning up the playroom because it's been a hot mess. But like, I've been thinking for a week of what my process was gonna be about going in and cleaning up the playroom, throwing away half the stuff that was in there, or like donating, getting rid of, cleaning out. And obviously you were being helpful and like doing what you needed to do, and I'm super glad you did, because my overthinking makes me sometimes, or enables me sometimes to not get it done. Like, I haven't gone in there and just picked up and cleaned it up, because I was like, no, I want to go in there and I want to sort all through it and throw away half the stuff and then put this stuff in here.
You want to go buy the candles in the tent before you go camping. And I'm like, let's just go camping.
Right. And I want to like make sure that I have the right everything. So anyways, it hasn't gotten done because in my mind, I've built it up to this big thing that I need to do. And so when I saw you cleaning up the playroom, honestly, like my previous old self, my first thing was to be like, oh, I was gonna do that, like don't worry about it, like I'm gonna do it because I want to clean it out and I want to do all this stuff. But you were like right in the middle of it, and I feel like previously I would have done that, and then it would have turned into some resentment because you're like, F, I was trying to be helpful and clean up the playroom, and now. Well,
see, now I'm thinking like, F, I wish you'd have told me.
No, I'm glad you did it. But here's the thing.
No, I'm glad I did.
Because I didn't say anything, now I feel like incredible relief that it's cleaned up.
And how many times has that happened in our relationship?
A lot. But I'm saying, okay, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, this is an example of the fact that like I had previously thought about it. Had I come in and said like, oh, that stuff half that stuff needs to be thrown away and go to donate. To you, it seems like that was my like knee-jerk reaction, and I see something you're doing and I'm immediately being critical. Whereas it's actually that in my head, I've been thinking about this for like the whole week. And I have the plan in my head of how I'm gonna do it. So when it comes out of my mouth as like, oh, hey, half that stuff needs to be donated, as you're putting it up and sorting it and picking up and, you know, then you're taking it as me being like, oh shoot, I'm doing it wrong.
And then we probably wouldn't have even filmed this because it would have ruined the rest of the day. But it's not that you were doing it wrong. It's that I was making it easier for you to sort through to donate.
Yes, and regardless,
see, it's how you look at things, I guess.
But regardless, the outcome is fine. Like, the playroom got cleaned up, and I wasn't gonna get to cleaning it out and donating it today. So in the meantime, we can walk through a clean playroom, and when I decide to clean it out and donate, I will. But so I think for me, the hard thing is, in some situations like that, it is a good thing for me to keep my mouth shut. But in situations where I feel like there's something I've been thinking about and I just want to either share my knowledge or tell you what I'm thinking or whatever, I am afraid to do that. And so I have to, especially when it's like an emotional thing, I have to kind of hide that away a little bit because I don't want to piss you off. Because I feel like things that I say, you end up taking them as me being critical or judgmental.
Of my character,
of you. Like, that like I don't like you.
You're a dumbass for thinking that you could do that the right way.
Right. Or like, you're a dumbass for thinking of cleaning up the thing. Don't you know we've been talking about we need to donate toys? But that literally would not be my train of thought. My train of thought would be like, hey, I need you to know that this was the thought in my head that I had about this. And so I think it's sometimes frustrating that, that, I don't know, like, what's it like to be in a relationship with you? It's like, sometimes I feel like I can't share my true thoughts or true emotions because of fear of upsetting you or of it being taken a different way. Like, even if I say, hey, don't take this wrong, but blah, 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 then you're still gonna take it wrong.
Well, that's like the people that say like, no hate, but
yeah,
you're
right,
dumb
right.
on this comment.
But I honestly don't mean it in,
I know.
a judgmental way. Well, and it's kind of like the thing about, I want to be able to have my own opinions or like the way I do things without you feeling like you have to change anything. I mean, obviously it's a good thing that things change in some ways, but as far as like I was saying with the Targetballing, like I want to be able to say like, this makes me really anxious and I do not enjoy it, without you feeling like, oh shoot, I shouldn't do this then. Like I want you to be confident in yourself to be able to continue doing what you're doing. Just like earlier I came in and I said, hey, are you ready to film this? And you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I need to finish up this, but yeah, I'll put this down and stop. And I'm like, no, you can just say, hey, I need 10 more minutes. Give me 10 more minutes, instead of taking me coming in and saying, are you ready, as like, oh crap, I have to do this right now.
Yeah.
Which I think all comes from the old stuff.
I think
too.
it does. It comes from like childhood too, I think. Just like the guilt, I guess. Cause like, even if you said, hey, I don't want to go to Target Ball or something, I would still, if I still was like taking the reins on that and being like, okay, well, F you, I'm going to do it. I would still, in the back of my mind, have the guilt of like, well, she's taking care of the baby too. And then you're texting me about the kids needing their butt wiped while I'm working out at the gym, leaving the house. And so I feel guilty. And so then I don't go to the gym the next week, and then I'll just lose my mojo as far as all that goes. But like, you even said, don't worry about it. If you feel like I don't know, you even said like you're just expressing your frustration.
The gym thing?
Yeah. You're like, I'm just expressing my frustration. But I get it as like, I'm sitting there on the treadmill and I'm like, I even said like, okay, I'm on my way. And I like ran off the treadmill.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, Cullen's been going and working out in the mornings at like 5 or 5:30, and when the time changed, the kids started waking up at 5 or 5:30, and I was trying to, actually that week I was not working out, but I was trying to get some work done. I was in the shower, and so like if one of them wakes up, needs their butt wiped or whatever, they start fighting or call for me, then it kind of like stresses me out personally, anxiety wise, of like, I have to be on top of it and answer when they call, and you're at the gym with just like no cares in the world and get to work out. But like, I don't know. I think
it's me having this newfound empathy that I have in myself, I guess.
I appreciate that, because that was
it just makes me like
you do have empathy,
put myself in your shoes, essentially.
Right.
Kind of like what I was doing with that comment earlier. Like, I knew you knew what you were gonna say, you just didn't know how to say it.
Right.
So I was just mocking you or making you feel like, kind of like we did with Gaines the other day. It's like, she's like, no, you can't see that, Brooks. I was like, we're like, that's kind of rude, Gaines. Like, he's just asking to see it, and you know, you don't have to respond that way. And then I was like, oh, look at this American Girl doll magazine, mommy. And Gaines goes, oh, what? I was like, oh, you can't see this right now.
Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, how does that make you feel? And you don't want to like...
But it made me feel good if you actually meant it. Like, if you had said, like, don't be afraid to tell me what you feel, I'm not going to take it personally. That would have actually meant a lot to me if you said that. Whereas you thought that you didn't like how it felt when I said it to you, right?
No. I knew how it felt because I was trying to spit something out.
Oh, so you weren't... Okay,
I wasn't mocking you. I was just saying, like, I know what you're going through right now because I was just there where I couldn't spit something out. I don't care how it makes you feel, but I can't, like, figure out how to say it. It's in my head, and I can't get it out of my mouth.
Okay, I see.
And I was like, come on, hurry up. Or don't hurt me. Anyway.
But no, okay, so the thing about the gym, and I guess it's made me more aware too that you've been able to express to me like, well, when you text me that kind of stuff, it makes me feel like, because I would be in the shower and I'd be like, oh my gosh, Brooks just woke up and now they're fighting and I'm in the shower and I can't get up there, crap. And so he's like, okay, I'm leaving. And I'm like, no, I didn't mean for you to leave the gym, I'm just telling you. And so you're like, why though? And sometimes things just need to come out of your mouth, they just need to be processed, need to say it. But I will say that there's been a couple times since then that there will have been something random like that, whether it be with the kids or whether it be like, oh my gosh, I just like something stupid, I don't know. I'm really frustrated because the guy in front of me, the stoplight didn't go and went, something dumb. And then I've stopped myself because I've been like, but he's gonna think I want him to do something about this, and I don't actually. So why am I even putting this out there to you and making it your stress? Like, it shouldn't be your stress if it's my stress.
Well, another example, we were picking up the kids' prescriptions for their medicine the other day, and they said it would be yada 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 time. They're not ready yet, and yada. I had this like whole text like composed, like expressing my frustration because we thought it was going to be ready, and da 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 da. And I was sitting there and I was like putting all this stuff in this text and walking down the aisle, and then I was like, wait, what's it? Why do I have to tell her this? Like, who cares? Like, I'll tell her in 5 minutes when I get to the car anyway. And so
and you did
learning to like hold off on that.
You did text me a couple of things of like, oh my gosh, they said it would be 10 minutes, and oh, okay, we got a cat, on the table.
In the podcast. Well, that's
you did text me a couple of things, and I was like, oh shoot, well, should I, like, what's he need me to do about it? You know?
That's because I started feeling guilty because I had ice cream at that point for the kids, and I went back in to try to talk them into letting me have a spoon or something, like one of those
the whole situation.
Spontaneous
It was the whole random situation.
I was like, yeah, y'all have a spoon?
He was like, I'm gonna go ask the people at the cash register if they have an extra spoon. I was like, Cullen, they sell spoons in there, because that's my anxiety of like, I don't want to
spend $4 on a spoon when they can go back to their
I don't want to put somebody in a weird position of like, why is this guy asking me for a random like disposable spoon? But to you it wasn't a big deal, and I'm not even in there, so what's it matter if you ask? Like,
and then you walk in with my wallet, and
I'm like, here, just go buy some spoons.
But then as she's walking in with my wallet, the lady's like walking back to her the snack room and walks back out with 2 spoons, no questions asked. I got us 2 spoons, and the kids got their ice cream.
And as I walked in, I was like, oh, this is so awkward, because she was in the middle of like, we might have some in the break room, I can go check. And Cullen was like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. And I'm like, I wanted to explain to her, like, I know this is a weird question, but anyway.
Well, I prefaced it. You didn't see that. I prefaced it. I said, I got a really weird question, but one of y'all just check me out, and then blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
We talked about all the surface level stuff, but I think the underlying thing for me is that it like is a little bit frustrating when I feel like I can't express myself about the things that maybe are more important or that are like to our relationship. Like, I wish this is upsetting me that this is happening, or could you help me with this, or I wish this happened more, I wish this happened less, or whatever, because I feel like you're gonna take it personally and I don't want you to, and so I try to keep you from being upset, I guess. Yeah,
I'm a Scorpio, if that says anything about anything. Like, I'm pretty emotionally charged, I guess, when it comes to certain things. But I've again tried to step back from that role and just, I don't care, just to make everybody happy, when, I don't know.
Well, and to me, I'm like, if I have something that I want to express, like, hey, I wish we could work out something about the dishes. I swear the dishes are always the topic, but they're right in front of us, so we're looking at them. Then you getting defensive and being like, well, I was like doing this and that and that. I'm like, I don't need like excuses, and I don't want you to get upset and think that I'm angry about this. I just want to like work it out and talk about it and be able to hear what your opinion is.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine to give excuses, but like, hear your opinion instead of you just being like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll do whatever you want. Like, that's not what I want. I want you to express yourself. And so it goes back to what you were saying, how I like when you just make a decision.
Well, and how it kind of goes back to my ingrained habitual people-pleasing tendencies too, of like, earlier when you came in the playroom example, I was like, okay, let's go. I can do this later. Because I'm just like, I'll figure it out when I get there.
Well, and to me it's frustrating because I'm like, have you not analyzed the situation in your head already? Like, what the heck? But like, it's just, it's not that, because I would obviously be a little bit frustrated too if you were just like, no, this is exactly what's gonna happen, and I've already made this decision, when I've been analyzing it in my head too. But I guess because I do like to analyze and overthink everything, I'm like, well, let me hear your options or your strategies or your opinions instead of just going with what I said, because even though I've analyzed it for 2 days, it might still not be the right decision, you know?
Woo! Well, I'll leave a comment below and let us know. Are you the analyzer and the overthinker, or are you the overachiever and spontaneous combustible mess?
Or are you really just stressed out after listening to this podcast?
Oh, don't forget, we have to run a business together on top of all this. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching CYOTFS. Catch you on the flip side. Bye!